All right, what's good, Insane Gamers? As always, your boy Yo Soy, ACWeezy, the man goddamn T Hayes, back with another installation of the No Look podcast. Same time, same place. Make sure you guys hit us up on TikTok. We are posting daily clips, some more recent clips from, streams that we have, and also some throwbacks. Speaking of throwbacks, Tyler, tonight we're bringing back our bracket season. So
Wee.
football, unfortunately, has come to an end. So Tyler and I, we decided something that we have fun with, and I think it's a cool little thing to get some different opinions on stuff and add some content.
Do you think that we should let them in on what the bracket is, or have them be pulled along the whole episode wondering what it is? Let's go through all the brackets we have done so far.
Yep. Are you gonna go over them? You want me to? I know we did best sex scene in movies. We did our favorite porn stars. I think we did favorite shoe of all time.
Best rap album.
Best hip hop album of all time.
I think that was it.
It might have been it, yeah.
Well, we're starting early. That way we could get more brackets because we did have a lot of fun with it.
Let's give them a little hint. What do you think? Without giving it away fully, what can we say?
I mean, you think about it on the daily. At least I do.
It's associated with food, right? We can give them that little hint.
That's it. Otherwise,
we won't go into too much specifics. But yeah, we do have a bracket coming up. We'll probably do that in the latter portion of the show. Tyler,
NBA All-Star.
NFL may be over. I was gonna say we could probably dive into this first, and probably bigger news circulating throughout the NFL. The season's over, but we are now in off season, which is gonna mean a lot of free agents and potentially people being cut, traded, what have you. So it came out, right? J.J. Watt has been released by the Houston Texans. I mean, what do you think? What are some suitable landing spots for Mr. Watt?
I mean, initially, my thoughts are wow, because he's one of those guys. He had that classic rant, as you could say, last season about how they play football for the Texan fans. They do this, they do that for the Texan fans. So you would think the guy would retire a Texan. He's been there his whole career. But with circumstances that are surrounding the Texans, it's kind of obvious that he's kind of leaving,
I mean, it's just crazy how, obviously Bill O'Brien not there anymore, but they're, the whole organization is still dealing with the ramifications of hiring a head coach. Obviously, he got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Now Deshaun Watson's out. J.J. Watt. I mean, if there's ever been a rebuild, this has got to be that.
Well, I don't think it's not necessary. I think Bill O'Brien does play a small role into this. I think a lot of it has to do with the McNairs, the family that owns the Texans, maybe not being up to the times of the players, being behind the players, backing the players, kind of, making sure that the players' needs are correct. He's more of an old school kind of owner where, he doesn't care. Go out there, play football, make me money, and I'll make you money type of deal. But honestly, if I'm J.J. Watt, this is the best thing that's ever happened in my career. Because now they were listing all the things, all the accomplishments he's had, and everything on that list was everything besides a Super Bowl. Now you get to choose where you can go to contend for a Super Bowl, where you weren't going to do that in the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we will stay on the J.J. Watt topic. We won't really dive into the whole Houston Texans, but I mean, just to throw out there, they also got Will Fuller, their number one receiver, Kenny Stills, one or two or three, number receiver. They're both free agents this year. But like I said, J.J. Watt, Tyler, you probably expected this, coming out of my mouth, but what could be a better fit than the Green Bay Packers? Obviously, Wisconsin kid, born and raised. He's hinted and kind of subliminally shown his love for the Packers organization over the years. His injury history might play a factor into his price tag this offseason. And, the Packers, I think since they got, Brian Gutekunst in there at GM, they've kind of been leaning more towards signing free agents, paying them a little bit of money. They brought in Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, whereas in the Ted Thompson days, they were kind of strictly draft and develop. So Obviously, I would be a fan of that if they could get him at a decent price. I think he can come in. Maybe he doesn't play three downs, but passing situations, and I think he can still, help some teams here in the NFL.
I think there's three landing spots for JJ Watt. You said number one for me. That is the Green Bay Packers. I think that's number one where he's going to go, like you said, Wisconsin native. Number two, why not Tampa? Tampa Bay Bucks automatically in playoff contention already. In many people's minds, they're going back to the Super Bowl to repeat. I would say the only way he's going to Tampa, though, is if he takes a huge pay cut at a one-year deal. Probably lying opposite of JPP, who had a baller season this year. Going to be very hard taking him off the edge. And the last landing spot is opposite of his brother, TJ, in Pittsburgh. You see the Watt brothers reunite. Maybe they played together in high school, maybe not. I'm saying reunite like they played together once before. But
in the backyard.
Maybe play together for the first time in Pittsburgh, in black and gold, which I think would be pretty dope. They'd be playing in one of the best divisions in football. Doesn't, though, make him a title contender right off the rip like the first two, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are all valid options of where he could end up landing. The only thing I'll say about Tampa Bay is, I don't know, when I think of J.J. Watt, I don't really think of like a ring chaser. Like we said, we thought he was going to spend his whole career in Houston, which, he probably conceded at one point and said, yeah, this might not be the best fit for me to win a Super Bowl, but I'm true. He's loyal. I don't really see him as being that guy to go hop on a super team, if you will. Kind of like how KD went to the Warriors, just go off full mode ring chasing. The Steelers I could see making sense. Obviously, some more of his characteristics, family-oriented guy. So why wouldn't you want to play with your brother?
I agree 100% with what you're saying. That is who JJ Watt is. But I feel like at this point, you tip over the, what do they call those things that have the sand in them?
An hourglass?
An hourglass. You tip over the hourglass. Unfortunately, JJ Watt has more. He only has a little bit left at the top of the hourglass. So I think it's time for JJ to be a little bit selfish. He's been selfless his whole entire career. He's played for one team. He's probably taken a lot of bullshit that he didn't have to take as a superstar sack leading defensive player in the NFL. But now it's time to go after something you haven't done before, and that's win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, you said those are the top three places he might land. I think there should be, 31 other NFL teams calling his agent to inquire about landing him on their team, because I can't think of a better veteran, locker room type guy to, forge, I guess, if you will, the next chapter of young NFL stars.
No, I think that's a great point. I just think that a lot of teams, like, I would love to see him on the Raiders. I just don't think it makes sense having Cleveland Farrell and Max Crosby, who we drafted through the draft, take away valid rep time for them to proceed. But that's not saying that we can't get a number. I am hoping that JJ Watt, after a few people call, maybe there'll be some leaks saying, hey, JJ's only going to go to these 6 teams, or he only has a short list of these teams, so they can kind of narrow it down. But I think Packers, the Bucks, the Steelers, I could even see the Colts in there too. I bolster that Colts defense a little bit more, might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think you and I are on the same page. Like, he's not going to go chasing a big check. You did say he should be a little selfish. I guess that might factor into the location of where he might end up. I don't think he's going to go to the Jets just because they're the highest ticket price. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's still is some aspect. Yeah. I mean, Jets, obviously we won't dive into that. Jets are in the same conversation as the Texans of what the fuck is going on right now. But so we had to get our little NFL talk in there. It was probably the biggest news we had going on.
It's so good.
Yeah. I think we gotta kind of bring up a little bit of NFL information each episode.
It's like Packing is deserving of being all-stars last year, let alone this year. But it's crazy how long ago what I'm getting at is it's crazy how long ago that seems, but in reality, it was just a year ago today. And all we've
Hmm.
gone through since then, no fans in the stadiums. They're probably gonna have a fucking a dome, kind of like how they had the
Like a
playoffs
bubble.
last year, a bubble. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I got the list of all the All Stars that they're predicting right here. I voted twice.
Okay. Who'd
Uh,
you vote for?
I voted for in the East. I voted for Kevin Durant, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid. I voted for Bradley Beal for obvious reasons. James Harden, another obvious reasons, and Kyrie Irving for obvious reasons. Now I will say I voted twice. My first vote did not have Kyrie Irving in it because if you watch the No Look podcast, I was on a boycott of Kyrie
Mm-hmm.
Irving very early in the No Look podcast.
So what did he do to sway your mind? Because you were, you know,
He
quite
suited up. He
opinionated
started
about his.
playing. My guy put on his fucking Kyrie shoes and started balling out like he should.
All right. I mean, I guess that's all he needed to do, and he must have heard you.
I think he was tuned in. On the West, I had LBJ, of course, Nikola Jokic, Kawhi Leonard, Dame Lillard because he's been balling out, and I think I had Luka Doncic because he's almost averaging a trip dub. Um, But let's go through who they're saying is going to be the starters. They're doing East versus West again. They're
Yep.
going back to it. Last year they did Giannis versus LeBron's team where they picked, which I like that. I don't know why they changed that.
I thought that was an interesting thing, but I don't know. I kind of like. I guess now that I think about it, because then at the same time, you get to be in a locker room with guys who you traditionally don't play against or maybe see a lot. The East versus West merger. Because if you're in the Eastern Conference, then you might not play against a lot of Western Conference teams. But I don't know.
True. I just think it's cool that they were picking people like it was like backyard basketball. Otherwise, they got for the Eastern Conference, they have Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Giannis, Bradley Beal, James Harden as their starters. Reserves, they got Jason Tatum, Chris Middleton, Bam Adebayo, Jaylen Brown, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, and Zach LaVine. Off the rip, is there any that you could think of that should be in there in the Eastern Conference?
Um. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I guess I got a different list than you do because there's Zach LaVine. I don't know. The only thing off from what you just said, I think you have a more updated list. Not even like biased because I say I root for the Knicks, but I'm not a huge fan by any means. But just been following the NBA, and I feel like Julius Randle is having a crazy year. He's helping out the Knicks. And he may be their main guy right now on a young team. Obviously, they have Kevin Knox. They have what's his name, R.J. Barrett, and a bunch of young guys. I feel like he's almost like the veteran. He's averaging, career numbers right now. I would bump Zach LaVine above. Would you say Ben Simmons? And then I
Yeah.
would trade out Ben Simmons for Julius Randle, but. I don't know. It's kind of a popularity vote at this point, Tyler. Obviously, Ben Simmons, he's been an all-star before. He's kind of a little bit flashier, so I can see why it's more appealing to the viewers and the fans.
See, I agree. I think Julius Randle should be in there. Dude is balling out completely. I think the All-Star game should also have guys in there that, like you said, it isn't a popularity vote. It's based off purely stats. I think Julius Randle is more of a baller, an all-star this year than Ben Simmons has been playing. I think Ben Simmons is just a household name. Another player who isn't listed in there is Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Trae Young at? He's been having a great year, somewhat. Probably the leading scorer for the Atlanta Hawks, but instead they got Jaylen Brown, who's the second leading scorer on the Celtics, who's having a pretty decent year. I just think I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna go against everything that I believe in right now because I'm a Nets fan. Is I think they should limit the players on each team to two.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. It kind of goes back to the whole Warriors deal when you got KD, Steph. I don't know if they had Clay and Draymond, but I know they had at least three one year. I don't know. That's kind of just a testament, in my opinion, to the format of how it's voting. Like you and I just said, it's more of a popularity contest right now. I feel like they should almost do like maybe not even a 50-50. You can do like a 60-40 or a 70-30 in the favor of fan voting, whereas at the same time, maybe give a few spots to, let the league vote, coaches, guys around the organizations that kind of maybe see a little bit more or
No,
respect
and
it.
I think coaches voting and players voting would be an integral part of the NBA All-Star voting, because when I was voting, it was okay, you get to pick 5 players from the West, 5 players from the East. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, how the hell do they come up with any of the reserves unless you're a fan of that team? And like maybe a mid-market team like Oklahoma City is not going to have a lot of fans compared to the Los Angeles Lakers, who is an international phenomenon.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to vote LeBron. Everybody's going to vote AD. Nobody's going to want to vote Shai Alexander Gilchrist, even though he's having a great year.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, like you said, a lot of that has to do with the market. I don't know. Honestly, I could care less about the game. I thoroughly enjoy the 3-point contest, the slam dunk contest, and even the skills challenge. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of more, I feel like, competition in that. The NBA All Star game, to me, has really lost its appeal. And I guess that was one thing, now that I'm talking myself back into my thought process, I was going to get your opinion on. I feel like a lot of players have voiced their disapproval of having the All Star game this year. I think it's just a money grab, honestly. Anytime you get a lot of those big name guys, obviously you're going to get a lot of viewers, you get sponsors. I mean, Kia's got to be the biggest NBA sponsor I can think of. They do a lot of that stuff. But, I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think with everything going on still in a pandemic, is this a smart choice to bring all these guys together?
I mean, if all these guys are gonna play regardless, whether it's before the All-Star game or after the All-Star game, I think a lot of the guys are just saying, "Hey, we want to spend this time with our family." But you know, I hate to say it, but you sign up to be in the NBA. If you're that good, you're gonna play in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Like, just because it's a pandemic, I mean, they're gonna still have the All-Star game regardless, because the NBA is probably the best league with no COVID positive tests. They just do a great job at making sure everybody is safe and healthy. I think they should have an All-Star game. I think it would just take away from the tradition of the NBA. I actually enjoy the All-Star game. I think it's super fun to watch, especially when guys are throwing alley-oops from fucking mid-court and off the backboard and shooting threes from God knows where. I was watching it today and it had my eyes glued, and the All Star game was from last year. I mean, I think it's good for the league. It's good for fan engagement.
I mean,
But like,
do you think that, so you're saying the All Star game is your favorite aspect of All Star weekend?
my favorite aspect of All Star weekend by far is the slam dunk contest.
See, I almost like the 3-point contest best. I don't know. The slam dunk contest, I just kind of got a bad taste in my mouth after, I think it was last year, a couple years ago. I mean, they're like, what do we got going on with the judges? Every dunk is like a 50 now. I think Aaron Gordon was in it again last year, right?
Aaron Gordon, yeah, he lost.
Yeah, and whoever ended up winning, they gave him like a 50, and then Aaron Gordon comes out. What's that?
It was Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah, Derrick Jones Jr. He had a dunk. It was pretty good, but like, what do you value as far as a scoring system? And then Aaron Gordon comes back out and he does an even better dunk, and he still can't win because the max points he can get is a 50. I don't know. I don't really like that aspect of it.
I
The
do
format's
agree.
weird, the timing, and
I do think, okay, so a few things. The dunk contest, we only have 5 minutes to talk on this before we got to get into the bracket. A few things. The dunk contest lost a lot of it because, A, they don't get the best dunkers in the NBA. They get, like, decent guys. I mean, Aaron Gordon's probably one of the best dunkers in the NBA for sure. But they don't get LeBron. They don't get, people that are big names like Michael Jordan back in the day.
right.
I will agree with you. The 3-point contest is absolutely fucking riveting especially when you get some guys that are
See,
really,
those
really,
guys
really
are
close.
just one. I mean, they're ripping off like 10, 12, 14 shots in a row. I mean, they're on the last bucket. They got the money balls. They need to sink them all. I feel like people get more hyped over that, but
We'll have to come back when All-Star Weekend. I think it's going to be about in a month when it's around the time of All-Star Weekend. We'll make our picks. Who's going to win the three-point? Who's going to win the slam dunk? But let's get into the West real quick of the All-Star, and then we can get into the bracket. For the
mhm.
West, they got LeBron James leading the pack, Nikola Jokic, who is averaging a triple-double, Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, Dame Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, who might not play because he's aggravated his Achilles tendon now,
Mhm.
Paul George, Shai Gilgeous Alexander, and Chris Paul leading it out for the West. What are your current thoughts?
Um, I mean, I'm looking at. So, who were your? What were the top five again?
Top five: LeBron, Jokic, um, Doncic, Curry, and Leonard.
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
say
I
this
mean,
right off the rip. I think John Morant should easily be in the Western Conference All-Star team, probably over Chris Paul if it were up to me. I know Chris Paul is on a tear with the Suns, but John
mhm.
Morant was injured most of the season, came back. He's absolutely killing it. Also, De'Aaron Fox for the Sacramento Kings should be in high consideration. Dude is
Mhm.
averaging 28.4 points in the last 12 games. And then, of course, Zion. Where the fuck is Zion at? The dude is a goddamn beast. He just had 40 points with 90% shooting average against the Mavs the other day when they lost by like 6.
Yeah, so I'm getting confused. I'm confusing myself here, Tyler, because the list I'm looking at has the front court and the back court separated. So you're rattling off these names. I'm like, wait, he's not on. Oh, he's on the guards. But I mean, I feel like it should be pretty clear cut. You know, Curry, Doncic, Lillard, Mitchell, James, Jokic, Kawhi. You know, Paul George is having a pretty good year. Zion. I don't really see anything. I feel like Zion, like you're saying, people are kind of taking him for granted. You know, this guy had so much hype circulating around him when he came into the league. You know, he got hurt a little bit his rookie season. Now he's just doing what is expected of him. And, you know, people are like, oh, wait, he's just like doing average, which average for him is still above average compared to the rest of the league. So I feel like people are just kind of almost taking advantage of him.
I
Devin
think it's
Booker, I feel like, should
that's
definitely
a good one.
solidify a spot. I mean, Tyler, another thing about like
Well,
taking advantage of it, like,
my my question real quick is how the fuck does this list have Chris Paul as Western Conference reserve but not Devin Booker? Without Devin
you
Booker,
know,
there's no Chris Paul on the Suns this season.
I mean, we're talking about like great players. He's in a league of like his own, basically. No one in the league right now has scored 70 points. Devin Booker is the only person. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, Tyler. When you're talking about 70 points, like, yeah, Melo dropped 60, right? Some people, but 70 points, that's like more than most of teams, like, starters average. You know what I mean? That's just astronomical, in my opinion. So to have this guy not be in the top tier of the league, I'm not sure if his numbers are
He
down slightly this year, but he should
No, they're
be
not.
he
The
should be
Suns
right
are
up
doing
there.
the Suns are doing the best that they've ever done since 2008 when they went to the conference finals with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. I think this is easy. You easily take out Rudy Gobert for Zion. You take out Paul George for Devin Booker, and you take out Chris Paul. Who did I say before? John Morant. I think
Yeah.
it's simple as that. That would be completely. Also, Chris or Devin Booker is probably the biggest fucking snub in the NBA. Dude gets snubbed from the All-Star game
Yeah.
year in and year out, fucking averaging 30 points. I don't understand how this who did this guy piss off?
Oh, I feel like he's kind of getting that Dame Lillard treatment where he's on a, you know, more of a smaller market team. He hasn't really won any championships, what have you. Because I mean, I feel like Dame Lillard got snubbed from it a little bit. Now we're kind of seeing the Suns come into their own with that nice young team, but at the same time, it goes back to popularity. You're saying Chris Paul, is higher in the voter standings than Devin Booker. That's just completely egregious, in my opinion.
Just because Chris Paul is like a good neighbor on his State Farm commercials does not mean he deserves to be an All-Star this year. Get Devin Booker an All-Star jersey. That dude is balling out.
Like they're acting like Chris Paul is the reason why this team is better. I mean, I'm sure he factors into it, but I don't think you can say he's the main guy. If they didn't have Devin Booker, like what?
Or DeAndre Ayton, they have a solid young team. Like obviously they've been preparing for this for a while from the last 5 years worth of first round draft picks that they've had.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll obviously tune in. I watch it all the time, every year, All-Star Weekend. I don't always watch the game, but I'll definitely be watching and waiting to see who they pick for the three-point contest. Tyler, I know we're about to get into our bracket, but I just got to have a little rant real quick, something that popped into my mind I wanted to mention. I forgot when we were discussing football. The Super Bowl parade, all right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're down there.
Oh, shit.
They're on boats, right? They're partying, going crazy. As if the NFL wasn't ruined enough. Tom Brady has no respect for Super Bowls anymore. This is like another birthday. It's just like, oh, another year blowing out the candles, right? He views the Super Bowl Lombardi trophy like a cell phone. And stick with me for this analogy. You know when you get a brand new cell phone, like you're super careful with it. You don't want to set it down on certain surfaces. But then it's like as time goes on, you start caring less and less about it. Now you set it down on the gym floor. You might not wear a case or use a case, excuse me. Tom Brady, he's at the point now where this fucking Super Bowl trophy is like an old 2-year-old cell phone that he's getting ready to upgrade. He's fucking tossing it between boats. I mean, yeah, he's blaming it on avocado tequila, which I looked into because I was quite interested. I don't think it's a real thing. Must have been some sort of margarita. But, I mean, if someone, they had how many sets of hands going for it? I mean, if one person hits the guy who caught its hands and it bounces off his finger, goes down into the bottom of the bay, I mean, they're going to be searching for that trophy like it's a dead body. I mean, they're sending down the dive team. But, I mean, just like how reckless he is with something that's so coveted and so many guys would literally give their lives for, I don't know. I have honestly a little bit of a bone to pick with him about that.
Good for you, Glenn Coco. Tom Brady, the ultimate savage, bro. This guy decides to throw the fucking chip across the bay with masses of boats all over. There's nothing more this guy. I feel like there's nothing more he can do to surprise me, but I'm sure he'll find a way to surprise me again. Ultimate savage move, ultimate respect. I mean, that was probably his best completed pass in his NFL career.
It's definitely up there. Another thing too, Tyler, with the whole COVID thing going on, I didn't see one mask in all of that. Not that I'm like a huge like mask supporter or whatever. I oblige by it. I think it's definitely helping by wearing and cutting them down. But I'm just saying from the standpoint of these guys, they go out there and play. You see them wearing the masks, some guys on the sideline. But you're telling me they're not going to mandate or even feel any sort of obligation to wear some sort of mask when they're crammed in on a boat, like over capacity? Might I add, they're glad that thing didn't capsize and went full fucking Titanic in whatever marina they're in.
Where are they, though?
In Tampa, Florida.
Exactly. That's my point. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, but why? How is the NFL not like, oh, we got you? You guys were wearing masks. What did they take a fucking rapid test like a STD? You're at Planned Parenthood and they got the results back in 20 minutes?
Well,
the fuck out of here.
Primarily because Roger Goodell doesn't care. He just came unscathed through an NFL season during a pandemic. The guy is like, I don't give a fuck what they do in Tampa. They could throw a guy. Hey, I'm surprised if this was Tom Brady 5 years ago or 10 years ago when he won his third Super Bowl and he did some shit by throwing the NFL trophy, his ass would have been fined. Now Roger Goodell could give a two shits what he does.
That goes into the same conversation of how the NFL is ruined. I mean, you talk about when a coach has lost the locker room, excuse me. Fucking Roger Goodell has lost the NFL. This is Tom Brady's NFL. This dude isn't even commissioner anymore. He was scared of the Patriots. He didn't do shit when, the whole Deflate Gate, nothing really came of that. Now Tom Brady is over here chucking the trophy from boat to boat. This guy cannot enforce any type of rules. I don't know. I feel like it's time for a new commissioner.
So not only is the NFL ruined, there's also a new commissioner needed. Got it. I mean, honestly, Austin,
If the NFL is ruined, that should be the look up top. Look at the main guy. That should be who they start with.
I mean, you kind of sound like a male Karen. I'm not gonna lie. You're talking about throwing trophies, no masks, how the NFL is ruined. What's next?
I'm just saying, if like we talked about, for instance, in the Packers game, should that last penalty have been a penalty? Yes, of course. But if you're gonna call it like they were calling all day, keep it consistent. NFL, Roger Goodell, if you're gonna require them to wear masks on the sideline, keep it consistent. Like, they can put a fucking straw underneath their mask, at least try to attempt to make some sort of effort to, support the rules that are going on. I don't know. That was just my 2 cents. But
Austin's coming down to Tampa here in the next few weeks. He's gonna be absolutely culture shocked when he comes down here, and the lack of mask wearing that happens here. That's all.
I probably won't wear a mask either, but I'm saying I'm not mandated to. Fuck.
The state of New York's listening. Like, what? You want to come back?
Listen, I'll get my rapid test. We'll be good to go. Southwest Airlines. We're safe. All right, that was just my 2 cents I had to put in there, Tyler. You ready for the bracket?
Let's do it.
You want to give us a little prelude into what this bracket is going to be all about?
Well, I had the epiphany, if you will, of doing a bracket today. So I texted Austin, and he said, it's too early for brackets. And I said, it's never too early for brackets. So I said, let's do the best of the best in pizzas.
Here we go.
Types of pizzas. Austin, share the screen so I can see it, because now I am fucking horny and hungry.
Two things that Tyler is always already, but... So yeah, Tyler said he wanted to do the best pizza. At first he said toppings, so I made this whole bracket with like different kind of toppings, like just individual, like, chicken, pepperoni, cheese, meatball, sausage. And then he's like, no, I want different kinds of pizza, which makes more sense. So I had to redo the whole bracket. But here we go. I'm going to read this left side. They're kind of in order, I guess, Tyler, from what I'd say we should rank most common to least common. So 1 is cheese, 2 pepperoni, 3 meat lovers, 4 vegetarian, 5 white, 6 Hawaiian, 7 barbecue chicken, 8 buffalo chicken, 9 extra cheese, 10 margarita, 11 deep dish, like a Chicago style, 12 breakfast pizza, 13 cheeseburger pizza, 14 supreme, 15 California style, and 16 Greek. So we'll dive right into it, Tyler. I mean, I feel like there won't be many upsets going on right here. In the first round, we have the 1 versus 16 cheese versus Greek. I'm not even 100% sure what's on a Greek pizza, but I don't know. Cheese, I feel like it's unanimous for me.
Yeah, I mean, I had to look up a Greek pizza, and honestly, that shit looks fucking fire if it didn't have olives. So this one's easy for me. Cheese all the way. Especially, you could get any cheese from New York City down to fucking Alaska or up to Alaska, and it'll still be better than any Greek pizza you get.
Yeah, 100%. Just gotta start the tournament. Let's do that. Yay. So cheese moves on.
Remember that one time that you tried starting it and it deleted everything?
Oh my god, I had to go back to my other laptop, come save it. That was a big mess. Here we got the 8 versus 9, Tyler. Extra cheese versus buffalo chicken. I'm going to start off by saying I'm a huge buffalo chicken guy in general. Like buffalo chicken wrap. Dip, anything. So a buffalo chicken pizza, blue cheese, I thoroughly enjoy that. So for me, that's what I'm going to go with.
I'm going to go ahead and agree. And the only thing is why? Because cheese is great. It's just You go too much cheese, you're on the toilet for a long time, or my stomach's just not sitting right with me. It's like I got a block of cheese just stuck in my stomach. Buffalo chicken also my go-to when I'm drunk,
Or
especially
you might,
DeAndre's.
DeAndre's pizza is fire. Another thing, Tyler, with too much cheese, you might choke on it.
Oh, that's true.
I remember back in the day, I took too big of a bite off a mozzarella stick at Friendly's, and I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. I was like, everyone's looking at me like, yo, you good? I was like, I thought I just died there. I had to breathe through my nose. It was a whole big ordeal, Tyler. But so buffalo chicken, we're in agreement. Moves on. I should have pulled up the coin flip because I know we're gonna get to that eventually. So we got a white versus a breakfast pizza. Do you have any specific thoughts on these two?
Well, first off, don't even know what the contents of a breakfast pizza is. And I'm sure even if I looked it up, I know unanimously in my head, I am going with the white pizza because that is probably my second or third favorite pizza out there. Just the ricotta cheese on it.
Yep.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, I mean, I think a traditional breakfast pizza would be like egg, bacon, maybe a tomato on there. I do enjoy it, but I also even more so enjoy a white pizza. I'm not a huge sauce guy, to be honest, Tyler. I traditionally don't even put sauce on my spaghetti. Maybe
Me
put
neither.
a little butter, a little Parmesan cheese.
Olive oil.
Oh, olive oil. Can't go wrong with that. I came up with this new thing, Tyler. Healthy popcorn. So
Ooh.
as opposed to putting butter on it, I put a little bit of virgin olive oil. Because for me, I feel like you almost put on the butter for the texture, right? You don't want just like some
Right.
dry popcorn. So you put a little bit of olive oil on there. Substitutes pretty well for the butter. I also don't buy butter, really. So
Yeah, me neither.
So here we got a cheeseburger pizza versus a vegetarian. This is actually a tough one for me. Do you feel some type of way about them?
Well, you see, I am all about the meat. And honestly, anything veggie, maybe even besides a veggie burger, I just not gonna do. Because
Mhm.
usually they substitute it with like tofu, and the only tofu I like is in my like lentil soup. So I'm gonna go upset
Upset
cheeseburger
alert.
pizza
Wow.
on this one over the vegetarian. I just think it's fire, especially if you get a good like burger
Like good, a
with like
nice
that
ground beef.
American
Yeah,
cheese
yeah.
on it. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I do love some, vegetarian products. Even I'll get the Beyond Meat or whatever substitute for things sometimes. But a nice cheeseburger pizza, like you said, it's kind of all about the beef involved. BWP, which, Tyler, we ate at, they used to do a cheeseburger pizza and they had their own BWP sauce. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. So, all right, I'm surprised. We're 4 matchups in. We haven't done one coin toss yet. Right here, this is almost a tough one. We got Meat Lovers and Supreme. Now, I'm not sure what your interpretation of a Supreme pizza is, Tyler, but I would almost say Supreme is kind of like a Meat Lovers with some veggie on there.
Mm.
So,
Well, back to what I was saying before. Supreme looks fire, but here's the thing for me: it has olives on it. I
mhm.
absolutely hate olives. They're like chocolate to me. So I'm gonna have to go with Meat Lovers on this one.
Oh, well, it looks like I jinxed ourselves because it's going to be our first coin flip of the night. Um, so what do we want to do here? Let's do Meat Lover's head, tail. Excuse me. Yeah, Supreme is tails. Flip it. Heads. Tyler's Meat Lover's moving on. I'm not too
I think
torn.
that's the better choice.
Yeah, I just personally like. They got the peppers on the Supreme, so it's like a Meat Lover with some peppers on there. I
I
don't.
mean, I could easily say Supreme with no olives, but for terms of the name, I
Yeah.
think Meat Lovers is the way to go.
Yeah. All right, so 11 versus 6, we got deep dish versus Hawaiian. Tyler, this has been maybe the biggest topic of debate circulating, pizza toppings and types of pizza. Does pineapple belong on pizza? My stance, yes, I believe it does. Do I order a Hawaiian pizza? Traditionally, no, but if someone gets it, I will definitely snack on it. I think it's good. Grilled pineapple, or I guess what would you cook a pizza? You don't grill it. Traditionally
You bake it.
bake it in an oven. I enjoy grilled baked fruit. If you've never put a peach on a grill, made into a shish kebab, that's phenomenal. Try that. So I'm gonna have to actually say Hawaiian over deep dish.
Oh, well, bring up the coin flip again because
We're going back.
pineapple does not belong on pizza, nor will it ever. Hawaiian pizza with the ham on it, that looks fire. But you put a little pineapple on there, it's a no from me. I've never even had a deep dish pizza, but I would be willing to say that deep dish pizza is better than a Hawaiian pizza.
So this is just solely going off your hatred for pineapple on pizza.
Correct.
All right, so we'll do top heads, deep dish. Hawaiian is tails.
He knows the algorithm to the coin flip.
I just went top heads, but all right, we got Hawaiian moving on. I'm assuming we're gonna see another coin flip in the future with Hawaiian pizza moving on. Ooh, another tough one right here, Tyler. Barbecue chicken versus margarita. I traditionally go for buffalo chicken over barbecue, but I do enjoy a nice barbecue.
This is a no contest for me. Barbecue chicken just blows this one out of the water, especially when you're drunk. My go-to combo: buffalo chicken, BBQ chicken, white pizza when I'm
Mhm.
absolutely hammered. I only get cheese at certain places that I can actually trust.
Mhm.
But barbecue chicken, you can really hardly ever go wrong.
Yeah, now I'm rethinking maybe we already started the bracket, but once you said your drunk go-to, mine kind of is similar. I like buffalo and barbecue, but I also enjoy a nice broccoli, maybe a white broccoli. That's a pretty good style of
That
pizza,
sounds
but
fire, honestly.
yeah, that's my go-to if you don't want to get too much meat in your system. I'll agree with you. I do enjoy a margarita pizza here and there, but can't go wrong with a nice barbecue chicken. Moving on, we got number 2, pepperoni versus 15, California. I think I looked it up beforehand. California is kind of a combination of a thin New York style crust with some more herbal toppings, I guess, if you will. Maybe some peppers, some basil, and maybe a pepperoni. Kind of a lot of different styles mixed into one. But for me, it's easy. Number 2, pepperoni. Can't go wrong with that. Classic.
Agreed. Honestly, pepperoni is not even one of my faves, but it's just a classic. Like if you don't know what you're getting with your boys, like hey, I'm getting Domino's. What are we getting? And they don't want to get cheese. But someone wants to get meat lovers. Someone wants to get vegetarian. Someone wants to get that. All right, let's just get pepperoni then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's
It's
an easy
second
go
best.
to. You can, it's simple enough where if you don't want pepperonis on there, you can just pick them off. So it's a pretty good compromise. So we're
Honestly, I love picking off the pepperonis and eating them like a charcuterie board.
individually, yeah, it's not a bad.
Because you get the pepperoni and you get the cheese.
Right, kind of best of both worlds.
Yeah, I would say.
Tyler's on to something here. So I think in the past brackets, we've worked our way up from the bottom. So we're going to go back to pepperoni versus barbecue chicken, Tyler. Tough one. Like we just talked about and talked up pepperoni so much. It's pretty easy, universal. You can go with pretty much everyone likes a pepperoni pizza. But if we're talking personally, I got to go with barbecue chicken. I think chicken is my favorite meat to have on a pizza. It's the most versatile. You can do pretty much anything with it, different sauces. So I'm going to have to say barbecue chicken over pepperoni.
And I'm going to have to agree with you, man. Upset of the century right here. Pepperoni, people are like, oh, easy finalist. No. Barbecue chicken, that shit is, especially when you get some good onions on there and like the purple onions. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that barbecue chicken that should be bussin'.
Bussin'. All right, I'm glad we're agreeing on that one. And now that I'm looking at this bracket, I think I have an idea of where our finals might go towards. 6 Hawaiian versus 3 meat lovers. Like I said, I'm not a huge Hawaiian guy. if I had to choose, I would go with meat lovers, and I know Tyler, you probably feel the same way.
I'm
So,
glad that Hawaiian lasted this long. It's like blue balls, for all the people that love their pineapple on pizza. Yeah, you lasted one round. That's it. Go home.
yeah. Hey, at least you could say you were there, right? That's pretty much how that
Yeah.
goes. So in this next matchup, 5 versus 13, we got white versus cheeseburger pizza. Tyler, I guess like I was saying before, a white is, no sauce or whatever. I enjoy a broccoli white. So now that I'm talking this out, I would say that I probably enjoy a white more than a cheeseburger.
I'm gonna have to go white on this, especially if you get a good olive oil base on it. It makes it like nice and moist with
Hmm.
the white. Like you don't want a lot of grease, and the way to stop that is the olive oil. So if you go to a tradition Italian place, their white pizza is probably their best pizza.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely tough because you can royally fuck up a white pizza, and I've been on the end of having a bad version of it.
Oh yeah,
But for the
like
most
it's
part,
like the cheese is chunky. Like you're like,
yeah.
what the fuck? But like you could also mess up a cheese. The sauce, it plays a huge part in a pizza. People often don't know this.
Yep.
And they're like, well, nobody can fuck up a cheese, but you get some bad sauce, just like you get some bad cheese on a white pizza. It can mess it up.
100%. So we're in agreement again. White is moving on. Here, Tyler, cheese, traditional cheese versus buffalo chicken. I'll let you kick this one off. What are your thoughts?
My initial thoughts are if I'm ordering pizza, what's my go-to? And 9 times out of 10, we'll say 6 times out of 10, it's cheese, always cheese. I really only get buffalo chicken in single slices
Hmm.
because anything after that is far too much for me. It's just overwhelming. Also, I think leftover wise, this needs to be completely taken into consideration when you're voting for your who's going on to the next round. Leftover wise, I think cheese is probably one of the best leftover pizzas
Hmm.
that you could eat.
I'd say on the contrary, Tyler, especially if we're talking about buffalo chicken. Obviously, everyone has different tastes, taste buds, all that. I don't hate a cold slice of pizza. Buffalo chicken, I mean, you already traditionally got the blue cheese on there. It's cold. You can dip it in more blue cheese or ranch, whatever your preference is. I mean,
You could get fucked up though, stomach wise, from cold chicken, where cold cheese, not so much.
not if it's already cooked.
Depends on how long it's in there for. I think cheese
If you
stands the
stick it
test of
in,
time.
yeah, I guess my only beef with this is I don't think buffalo chicken is worthy of dethroning the number one seed. Unlike you, I would 100% of the time order a buffalo chicken whole pizza over just a cheese. I like a little bit of topping, a little bit of flavor to it. But I think just for bracket purposes, I'll have to agree with you on the cheese. So here we go, Tyler. This one may be a little bit tougher for you than but we have cheese versus white. I guess I'll give my 2 cents first. I would prefer a white over a cheese. Like I said, not a huge sauce guy in general. And white, I feel like, I don't know, I enjoy it a little bit more. There's not much to say, but
I mean, contrary to your belief, I'm actually more inclined to go white myself. I think it is less greasy pizza. I think it's healthier. It tastes better. Has a lot of cheese and fats, but I think if you get it from the right place, who knows how to make white pizza, that shit could change your life.
change your life in a good way for sure. So, all right, we're going to put number
Upset
5
alert.
seed, upset alert, white, moving on to the championship. Now, Tyler, a meat lovers versus a barbecue chicken. So I know you said that you traditionally get barbecue chicken. That's your go-to. Where does meat lovers rank on your, go-tos?
Honestly, I feel like the only time I ever get meat lovers pizza is if I'm at a party. You know, that people like, oh yeah, it has all the meats people like. If they don't like it, pick it off. Barbecue pizza, though, on the other hand, that's that shit that I go after. Single slices, full pieces, or full pies. Me personally, I think barbecue always tastes better than a assortment of meats, if you will.
Hmm.
Um, and I think barbecue has to take this one easy.
Yeah. I agree. Not much to be said there. I don't even know how meat lovers made it that far. It's kind of just the way the bracket shaped out. I mean, went up against Supreme and Hawaiian, so it's kind of just like a default that it moved on, just like Dayton whenever they get a 5 seed. Now,
Was the 3 seed the best seed to get? Some.
yeah.
I mean, some of them didn't make it on to the championship or the final four that were even better, and it sucks that it has to be that way. But
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, I think a couple years ago, that was one of the first times in a while, at least, all the number 1 seeds made it.
yeah,
So, yeah, you never know there. So here we go. Final matchup of the night. The best pizza bracket. We have white versus barbecue chicken. Tyler, for me, even though I enjoy a nice white, and you're talking about could be life-changing, you simply cannot go wrong with a barbecue chicken pizza. There's different variations of it. You can stick with just the chicken and the barbecue sauce. I like it how you said, throw a little bit of onions on there. It gives it a little bit more zest to it. Barbecue chicken, that's probably top 3. I'd say barbecue, buffalo, and then that third spot is up for grabs. But for me, I would not be upset if this ended up winning.
see, I'm gonna go on the opposite end of the spectrum. I think white.
God damn it! We
Leftover
gotta do a coin flip for the winner.
Let me persuade you.
Shit.
Let me persuade you. All right. White, hot, just getting it out of the box. Name another pizza besides cheese that you think you could eat the whole entire pizza pie, a 16-inch large pizza all the way around. White pizza, cheese pizza, those are my 2 go-tos that I can finish by myself. That's how light it is. That's how airy it is. That's how good it is. You don't got all these extra toppings. You don't got all these extra variables in there that are slowing you down. Leftover-wise, what's better than fucking cold cheese? Nothing. There's nothing. You put it on charcuterie boards, you put it on pizza, it's still going to taste good, especially ricotta. That's the best cheese you could get.
We've been on the same page all night, and now we get to the fucking championship bracket, and you're going to say white's better than barbecue chicken?
I also like how I'm talking like Tony Soprano. Hey, I got the hand movement. It's the gabagool.
He's talking with his hands, and I guess tonight we're going to have to talk with the coin flip, because you're not going to persuade me otherwise. I enjoy a white, but I would just be beside myself if I allowed this slander of white to dethrone barbecue chicken.
If we're going coin flip, it has to be best 2 out of 3, though.
All right. White heads, barbecue chicken is tails. First flip is heads. White, 1-0.
Give me that.
Tails.
Ah!
The last flip. Tails. Never fails. No.
Yes!
I cannot believe you. You just made us pick white as the best pizza. I would have fucking said cheeseburger pizza and done a coin flip for that over white if I knew it was going to move on to the finals. God damn it.
Oh my god, what an incredible bracket.
I guess it all worked out in your favor. This was your idea, and of course, you had sole control over the way this thing shaped out. I even heeded to your opinions on cheese over buffalo chicken, and what do you come back and do? You fucking swindle me into thinking you're gonna lean towards barbecue chicken, then you say white. We gotta coin flip it. This is terrible.
Some would say I'm playing chess while you're playing checkers, as I took out your favorite buffalo chicken in the second round.
Tits! Not happy about how this turned out. I don't know, chat. What do you think? Are we completely insane to have white being the best pizza out of them all? I feel like this has got to be the only pizza bracket in the history of pizza brackets where white is the winner.
Dog, I think white pizza is by far the best pizza you could have.
I enjoy it too, but the fact that we just voted it the best pizza in the whole world out of toppings, I don't feel good about this. I'm going to lose sleep tonight just thinking about how this could have gone differently. I thought we were on the same page. I thought barbecue chicken was going to sweep the board.
I might sleep better tonight than I would have, knowing that White Pizza is the No Look Podcast best pizza topping.
God damn it. Well, that is what it is.
We might have to take a vote next week. Maybe take a vote. Were we right? Were we wrong? Also, might take a vote. What should we do next week for the bracket? I mean, we're coming back with the bracket next week for sure. So
yeah, we do a poll. We can also take some suggestions. Maybe we'll do an Instagram story. So make sure you follow Tyler and I, ACWeezy. We got Tyler _ Hayes 12.
No, Tyler Hayes 12.
Tyler Hayes 12, no underscore. I don't know where the fuck I got that from. So
my email address.
Oh, okay, I got you. I knew there was an underscore somewhere. That's been another episode of the No Look Podcast. Tyler, I know I'm back for Monday Night Gaming. I'm not sure what you got planned.
Unfortunately, I will not be there, but I know you will take care of. You'll hold it down.
Oh, I always do. Your boy Yo Soy.
But I will be back on Thursday for Thirsty Thursday.
All right.
Get a little Linsky.
Look out for that. White pizza. That's what we got.
I would say something, but it's racist, so. Yeah,
well, you're also just too happy that it ended up winning, so you probably don't have to say much.
It's a great pizza.
All right, we'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. Monday Night Gaming. Peace.
Love you.